think, I mean, as a reality, I think that most of the things that we design as professional designers, basically their only function is to sell or to promote the product. I do think that that is a sorry state of affairs, and I have nothing against selling or promoting. I mean, actually I come out of a family of salespeople. My parents had a store in Austria selling clothing, and you know, I grew up like the discussion at the dinner table were always about the clothing store. So I actually quite like it, but I do think that design has many more functions than just promoting or selling, and that it is important for us as professional designers to concentrate more on these other functions. You know, and they can, I mean, to name a few, I mean, they have something to do with information, they have a lot to do with delighting our audience, they can have something to do with raising money for good causes, they have something to do with bringing people together.
To understand the world?
As far as information
to
goes,
understand,
absolutely, yes. And there's a good number of designers who do this full-time professionally. I just think that if you look at the entire sea of us, probably 90% of what we do is just this one single function of promoting and selling. And I think that is a pity. It's incredibly important for us that we would do less images and try to do them, that try to increase their quality. Or I had actually, I heard somebody said after Peter Saville's talk today that he did so few imagery in his life that there was also, he produced very little shit because he literally, like, you know, produced a couple of pieces every year. And I think that is, I'm not sure if Peter does this consciously or if he is, you know, if that's just how his life is. But I think it's just it's such a valid strategy to them, and to just reduce, you know, reduce our output down to by a magnitude. I also think that, of course, it's easier for somebody like me to say that because I probably am more in a position to get clients that can pay more so that I can take on fewer clients. And it will take, you know, it took me some years to get there, but I do think that's a very valid possibility. Also then, you know, to cut down on the onslaught. Well, I mean, we had another example, a very powerful example of that, of course, after the events of September in 2001 in New York, where you had all the missing signs all over New York, that, you know, then were cited by many as probably the most powerful design manifestation out of that event, and definitely a more powerful one that that most of the designers, you know, responding with some stupid, you know, power logos that were also put into a number 11 or anything like that. So, I mean, obviously, I think since design is completely embracing our lives, you know, and penetrating, you know, every part of it, obviously there's a big social role and a big political role in it. I always found it presumptuous and difficult to judge if it's actually possible to go after this consciously and say, okay, I'm a designer, I will try to influence the world towards its betterment by design. I definitely have put myself in situations that changed my situation or my mood that were aided by pieces of design. I mean, I don't know, like I have these, you know, moments of happiness in my life. And when I sort of looked back at them and thought about some of them, there were a number of them that were where design had a big was a trigger for that experience. Like, I remember one time going up the Austrian mountains on the borrowed motorcycle from my brother with a then very brand new Walkman on. So I was listening to, I think it was in the 80s, Police coming out, going through the Austrian mountains without the helmet, and just being for 5 seconds truly happy. And that moment, while of course aided by the Alps and the weather, still would not have happened without the design pieces of the motorcycle, which was a Yamaha XT and the Sony Walkman. It would not. I could not have had that kind of moment in the 19th century. I might have had it in a different way, but I had it. I had it when I had it.
I understand.
So I do think that there's an incredible power in design, but I'm not sure.
No problem.
It's
natural.
I'm not sure if design is actually, if you as a designer can consciously go after this.
What do you mean?
Meaning, like, if you as a designer can sit there in the morning and say, okay, I'm going to design a piece of work that will increase the happiness of the human race. And then actually achieve that goal. I'm not sure if that is a valid strategy, or if you can just go out and say, I'm trying to design something that I find useful, and possibly through circumstances not under your control, people will use whatever you had designed in a way that, here and there will actually really enrich their lives.
You mean the designer make a proposition and the user use it or no?
Yes, basically. And
basically.
Basically.
Only a proposition. It cannot be a driver. You want to stay in the position to stay apropos. If you see in this thing something that can explain I'm AP or something, or you AP, or the willingness, the beautiful of the world, you say, okay, I take it or no. So
I think if you go too far, we've seen. I think it's sort of like the difference between New York, where a designer drew a grid, and then let the rest happen, and Brazil, where the designer, Brazil meaning the city Brazil, where the designer went all the way, and designed the whole city, and the end result is something. On the first example, something lively and organic within a designed grid, towards something designed and cold.
I mean, those designers are. Somebody told that those designers are fascist because they want to control the lives of the people.
And I think that's probably one of the main reasons why I don't really feel comfortable at Disney World, even though I love so many tiny aspects of it. Like, there are technical aspects of it that I find amazing and that you don't see anywhere else, but they took it so far that there is so much control around you that it doesn't feel comfortable anymore.